genesis of a conversational. I mean, these are all the major components which forms a conversational AI solution. Okay. So first is the medium, whether you are going to talk about in voice or in you're going to chat using text messages. So this is the first and foremost component on how the user communicates. The second part of the conversational assistant is the channels through which the user is going to communicate. So are they going to come through the website or mobile or through WhatsApp or the collaboration platforms like Teams or Google Chat, like whatever it is, like the medium in which through or the channel through which they are coming in. Okay. Then the third or the important portion is the bot engine. So the core of a bot engine or a CAA framework, a conversational AI framework, is a conversational engine. So that's what you see in the middle. So the lines there basically like showing multiple decision tree goes. It is basically driving a conversation. So if you see a real life, this is not any different. You ask a question, you get an answer, and then based on the answer, you ask another question actually. So that is how a normal human interaction happens even in a business environment. For example, right, we walk into a bank and you want to do a transaction. So first you'll check like, what is my balance. So the customer service executive or the teller will ask you to identify yourself. So once you are identified and then they will tell you the balance, then you go ahead and then you'll ask them, can I transfer the money? So then they will ask to whom you want to transfer actually. So basically this is the dialogue which happens, and someone has to drive that dialogue with the user, and that is basically done by the conversation engine. Okay. So the second portion of the conversational assistant, right? You have to train huge knowledge base. So it is a conversation engine, like you can imagine it's a kid, right? So the kid doesn't have a knowledge on a particular subject, and we are going to teach him. Okay. So how do you teach? You build a knowledge base with a set of questions and the expected answers. Or you can teach saying that these are all the vocabularies we use. Or you teach saying that this is the content in my website. So for example, so once you teach the content, the entire knowledge base is going to be converted into a knowledge graph. And that is graph DB, what we talk about, the knowledge services or the semantic graph actually. So why semantic graph? Because it is how we relate things. So even in a normal human conversation, we start talking about something, then you'll be able to appreciate the conversation a lot more when you are able to find the related important stuff actually. So for example, I am assume that I am an insurance customer, and then I walk into a branch. I tell them this is my policy number, and I want to find out when it is expiring. So the person at the counter come back and say so it is going to expire in 2 months time. Okay, so that's a basic conversation what you give, but it would be a great experience if the person also says customer service executive comes back and says it is going to expire in 2 months, and you have a promotion now, wherein if you renew now, you'll get another 5% of discount. So that's a valuable information to the customer. So how that information is valuable? Because it is related to the expiry. So that is what we call it as a semantic graph. And whatever the knowledge, what is given is converted to a semantic graph actually. It should be converted to a semantic graph. Then the next one, right? I mean, an important aspect of any conversational assistant is the natural language processing, because traditionally machine and human interface was all about having a UI or a GUI or a mobile app. So where the human is expected to find out where to click and then navigate through the entire site. So in a natural language processing, the human is not going to do any of such, but rather he's going to ask the question in the natural way. So there should be a way for us to understand what does that mean, and what is the data in the question asked by the user. So that is the natural language processing. So for example, if someone is asking my policy number is XXX and when it is going to expire, so you have to understand that the user is asking about the expiry and the data is policy number. Okay. So we should we call it as, in the conversational AI aspect, right? We call it as intent and entity. So how do you understand the intent and how do you understand the entity of what the the user speaks? Okay. Then another important aspect, right? We always try to keep the connector different. Separate from the conversational engine, because a conversational engine basically drives the conversation, and the connectors help you to deliver to the different channels. So whichever the channel, the experience is going to be same, and that's what we call it as omnichannel experience. So for example, someone comes to the Teams, ask a question, and someone comes to the website and ask a question. The expected response is to be same, and that sameness is ensured by the conversational engine, wherein the connector helps you to deliver the right response to the right channels. Okay. Finally, the speech services. I think Bharat mentioned a lot about speech services. See, in one of our projects, we managed to achieve 97% of accuracy with custom speech model of Microsoft, actually. Again, the speech services, we hook up to the Microsoft speech services, where we are able to do speech to text, text to speech, translation. All those services are integrated in the conversational assistant. So this pretty much gives you a CAA framework.